Dilini, you said for dairy industry, you said positive interest, opportunities and strength, growing market demand, increasing consumer preference. So you just identify the consumer. Your interested party is a consumer, and then it's a positive interest is a growing market demand, right? So that's people want to eat more milk product, right? The yogurt curd, and so that's a positive thing. And then technological advancement, improving processing, packaging, quality. So this technological advancement can be like need an expectation of the top management, so they want to increase the technological advancement part, and then health and nutrition. So health and what is this? Health and nutrient trend, rising demand for probiotic and fortified dairy products. So this is a like a consumer like your I think didn't you got my point, right? So the health and nutrition part, this can be requirement by the general public. So your need and expectation party would be general public, and then government and support subsidiaries, right? Financial aid and dairy farmers and processing industry. So this can be like government, and then your supply chain people, brand reputation, quality assurance. So high quality product standard, increasing consumer trust and loyalty. So this the need and expectation could be from top management, and then the organization stakeholders. Product diversification, opportunity to extend into lactose free, organic or plant based dairy alternative. So this can be again like uh, R&D team, need an expectation from R&D team, and then maybe your feedback getting from the consumer group, right? Sustainability initiatives, adaptation of eco-friendly practice in dairy farming and production can improve brand images. So this can be general public or maybe NGOs. I think Delaney, you got my point, right? Then if you can put like this mark, I hope you can understand. Maybe others can also read because it's in the chat. Yeah. Then I hope you got it. Yeah. So we in chat also, like there's a question. We are in-house QA lab, and then interested parties, production team and QA team. Yeah. Not only production QA team. It can be like your entire supply chain. Your interested party. In university, interested parties are student, faculty and staff, parent, government and regulatory bodies, industries. Yeah, alumni. Agreed. Right. I'm getting feedback. So this is interesting. Good. So Chatura said FMCG interested parties, external suppliers, raw material, local buyers, export buyers. Yeah, very good. Positive. Convenience supply of fast delivery. One word I can't read. Fast delivery, quality service, negative, high price for testing, high press on delay on deliveries, customer complaint. Yeah, those are negative things. Yep, interesting. So we'll lead international parties, scope, FMCG, interested parties, employee, owners, stakeholders. I think like all done, all good, all good. Kasuni has said positive interest, student, quality education, career. Yeah, Kasuni, this is very nice. Lecturers, teaching, research benefit, admin, reputation, compliance, accreditation body, standard enforcement, institute, skill graduate. Yeah, negative, resistant workload, authorities, rigid process, finance, budget limits, low performance. Yeah, interested parties, government, student, lecture, other university organization, product and service, giving quality education, degree program, certification. So you can break it into positive negatives, right? Yeah, government regulation, reliable, economic growth, tax revenue, power plant. Okay, this is for power plant, right? Okay. Positive government and regulation, reliable energy supply, yeah, economic growth and tax revenue, investor and owners, profitability, return on investment. So I think like now there was a dialogue. People are talking about the solar. The purchasing price has been reduced. right? So there are positive, negative impact. So like this area, you have to actually know about what is happening around you, not only in Sri Lanka, right? Even though we are in Sri Lanka, if you are importing, if you are exporting, we need to know what is happening around as well, right? Red Ocean, Russia, Europe, what is happening in the Europe, if you are exporting government into Europe, so those things we need to know. Local community opportunities, right? Negative environment group, yeah, so there will be issue. So he quite rightly said, power plant. So when you try to set up a power plant, there will be a serious issue. Even in Sri Lanka right now, like if you are into solar, not the solar, wind power, there will be like issue with because we need more power. And then there was an Indian team. They try to set up the wind power plant, and then will be an issue with the environmental group, right? So air pollution, water pollution, local residency, noise, air pollution, regular authority. So all informations are there. All right, okay, let me go through. So I'm getting more information. Now this is interesting. So let's see, university, student, positive quality education, facility, support service, the negative limited resource, yeah, staff, job security, professional development, research opportunity, negative workload, limited career progress, agreed, government, quality education for national development, budget constraint, alumni contribute to the growth, prize in university reputation, limited alumni. So this is interesting, right, guys? Now I think like now you are getting into the track, right? You are getting into the like real mood. So if you want to implement, you need to practice, right? So I'll get one more feedback. Positive customer, employee, supply, investor, partner. So negative competitors, say see, one more thing, people might think competition is a kind of a negative. I'm like, reasonable ethical competition is a requirement. See, unethical competition is a kind of a negative factor. But if you have a reasonable ethical competition, is good for the industries, right? Good for customers. But unethical and those things are not good. So the standard said, okay, uh, right, uh, so I'll just go back. So when you come to this interested party, this is one way we need to do. So need and expectation of interested parties. You complete the context. Now you complete the need and expectation. So now, right now, you might be wondering, I have a lot of information right now. So if I do this, in my organization, I have external context information, positive, negative, right? And then now I study my the need and expectation of the interested parties, and then again I have positive, negative information. Right now, what I'm going to do with this? Right, just hang on. Let's move on. Right now, this is scope. Determine the scope of. Sorry, go back. Scope of quality management system, and then if you want environment, both you can cover. But let's stick to the quality management system. So let me read this. Organization shall determine the boundaries and applicabilities of the quality management system to establish the scope. When determine the scope, organization shall consider these things you need to consider, right? The external and interested issues referred to, the requirement of real and interested parties referred into the product and service of the organization. This part, the scope of the organization quality management system shall be available and be maintained as documented information. See, now these two part, the context, need and expectation doesn't demand this documented information. So this particular area, now standards started to demand documented information. So the moment standards say, I need documented information, you need to have document control. When you go to the document control, we'll discuss that later. So when you go to the document control, you start the header, footer, review, approval, all these things has to be there. So it's a control document, right? If you want to do some changes, then of course you have to go through a certain procedure or certain process, right? Said, okay, scope shall be maintained as a documented information. The scope shall state the type of product and service covered and provide justification for any requirement in this international standard. Now, this is a challenging part. As consultancy team, we always had an issue with this. Why? Because when you go to the organizations, most of the people wants to include a lot of things in the certification. See, this is very important. Why? After you complete the entire ISO implementation, and then you go for ISO audit, certification audit with the third party certification body, they will issue a certificate. They will issue a certificate, and then that certificate has your organization name, organization address, as well as the scope, what you do exactly, right? Which should, I'm like the last part, it said provide justification for any requirement of the international standard. So you need to show the evidence, like, at the audit, auditors basically check against ISO 9000 requirements against the organization scope. Let me give one example. We are doing ISO consultancy. So Halcyon Private Limited is a ISO consultancy company. So we are already certified for ISO 9001 2015, because we need to, when you want to go for an international market, we need that kind of a accreditation and the certification. So our scope said provision of ISO consultancy on this particular standard. That's it. Like say, we are capable of doing ISO 9014, 45, 22, whatever, all the standard. So I mean, like in ISO guideline, there are 22,000 odd standard. We can't just say, okay, we are doing everything, because we don't have the experience, we don't have the competencies, and we don't have any organization which we are already complete on this process. So we will be saying scope of our work, provision of ISO consultancy on ISO 9000, ISO 22000. These are the areas. And training program, and then internal audit. That's our scope. That's we limited. So our certification limited for that. Right. So say, for example, now if you want to do for some other areas, we'll say say one example, computer training program, or maybe soft skill training program, which we don't have the competency and we don't have any experience. We cannot include that into the scope. First, we need to develop competency team. We need to conduct program. Then only auditors, we need to develop processes, and then we'll go for the certification. I hope this is very clear. I hope this is very clear. So this is the statement, documented statement about your organization. And when somebody read the standard, then the person will say, okay, look, this is our scope. This will be available in your certificate. I'll try to show the certificate as well. Right. Now, can you develop a scope for your organization? Whatever the organization. If you don't have organization, you can develop a scope for the university or maybe your home. Yeah, can you take 2 minutes and do this? Can you develop the scope? This is very important. The scope should contain only the activities you are doing right now in your organization. Maybe somebody can say, okay, scope could be what you do at the organization. I'm like, do you mean you don't need to say, I'm doing documentation, I'm working, I'm doing the presentation. No. What do you do this? We are a ISO consultancy company. Now we have a dairy, one of your team members working in the dairy industry. So he can say dairy industry, are you working from farm? So you can say dairy farming, and then raw materials, manufacturing of this product, and then marketing. Or maybe we have a team member from FMCG. So you can say, what do you mean by FMCG? So there's huge, right? FMCG, the mean. So you can say, we will be doing what do you call manufacturing of this particular product. Or maybe somebody can say, okay, there's a manufactured product, we will bring and pack only. Right. So I think we have one of our team member from power plant. So you can say power plant from, is it from the energy waste to energy, or is it from the fossil fuel? Then there will be a different type of fossil fuel, right? Heavy fuel, or so those kind of thing, and then generation of power and providing to CEB. So you need to limit that, what do you do within your boundary? You got my point, right? Team, you're clear? Team, you're clear? Is it clear? Guys, now we know each other very well, like almost 1.5 hours. Yeah. So I need feedback quickly. Can I get feedbacks? Is it clear? All right. Okay. Thank you very much. So I'll get 1 or 2 feedbacks. That's done. So let's get on with the scope. So you can write the scope and then you can publish on WhatsApp or chat. Yeah. Thank you very much. Sirina, thank you. Thank you. Right. Great. Thank you. I'm getting feedback. Love this. I need feedbacks. Otherwise, feel very boring, right? Right. Okay. Now I got a one scope. Manufacturing, packing, marketing, and selling of Ayurvedic product. Uh, Now this is not a complete scope. What do you mean by Ayurvedic product? So there's a huge lot. Is it like Ayurvedic herbal, Ayurvedic? I don't know what. So just this is okay. Manufacturing, packing, market, and selling of Ayurvedic product. What is the Ayurvedic product? So I mean, a certification body doesn't give you like for this kind of open scope. This is open scope. Any Ayurvedic product? No way. What do you mean by Ayurvedic? So just define this. I think this is done by Shanuki, right? Shanuki, just give me the feedback. What sort of Ayurvedic product? So now this is you can market your organization here, right? So this is our scope. Yeah. Shanuki, can you give me the exact information? What is the Ayurvedic product you are looking at? Okay, I have some questions, so let me try to answer. Uh, Positive. Small doubt. Hence, standard doesn't demand document info for the context analysis. What will be the procedure for follow to showcase the context analysis for external party, like during the certification audit to client or somewhere. All right. Okay. Tanu Shita, right? Tanu Shita. Okay. So Tanu like it's like this. See, I hope like when it's come to context analysis, we will be basically having a lot of confidential information. So in our organization, what we do is basically I will document like we will put it into a kind of a, like SWOT analysis, and then that SWOT analysis is available with the most senior person. So if somebody wants to know about the context analysis, of course he has to meet the most senior person. Right, the director, CEO, GM, whoever they are. So then he can have a dialogue. So this is like when it's come to internal audit. So this is the challenging part. See, if I'm auditor and I'm coming from a different industry, and if I had to go to a total different industry, which I have no idea about the context, right? That's challenging for the auditors, right? And then especially like this is applied when you go to overseas countries, which you have not have much understanding about their culture and all. So when you started to question, like if you have a document, fantastic, is easy. But since you don't have a document, like that's a challenging. So this context, like third party people, they don't ask for this. So only thing is like auditor, whoever they are, Anushit, I think like so only thing is like stakeholders, you need to have a open communication with the most senior person. Anushit, you are good. You're okay with that? Jasina, you're okay with that, right? No, Tusita, Tusita, I think like you're okay with this, right? Yeah. So if you have doubt, you can question that. So I'll try to answer that. Okay, let's see. So we have one feedback saying manufacturing empty aluminum can. Yeah. So don't say empty. Manufacturing of aluminum cans for what? So maybe you can fine tune. Ishara like you can fine tune. Aluminum can for food industry or aluminum can for any usage. So you can say manufacturing of aluminum can for food or manufacturing aluminum can for like paint. So whatever, I don't know. So you can give more elaboration because people should understand what you mean by what you mean by that. Yeah. Ishara, I got you. I hope you got my point. And then scope, purchase raw material, processing dairy products, yogurt, ice cream, storage, marketing. This. So you can say raw material, receiving of manufacture, processing of dairy products, including yogurt, ice cream, curd, and storage and marketing. So I think Delaney, you can cover that, right? So processing of dairy product using raw milk, and manufacturing of yogurt, ice cream, curd, and storage and distribution. So that would be your scope. So this is very interesting. I think you guys are quite good because this is where we have a lot of time constraint. Like people might need to do like yogurt, ice cream, curd. Now Dilini said she's manufacturing yogurt, ice cream, curd. But what about we'll say um, butter? Maybe in their pipeline they want to manufacture butter, but right now you don't have facility. So can you include into the scope? No. So that's why standard said justification has to be there. So you need to show that product, right? So only available product, yogurt, ice cream, curd, storage, right? And then we have a scope of university covering teaching, research, student service, administration, quality assurance. Okay, so now university, this like part of it, but what are the streams you are doing? Is it like science stream? What are the outcome? Like chemistry special degree or food special degree. So you can include that part, right? Like you're not doing everything. So there are some universities they are specialized in engineering, some universities they are specialized in medicine, right? So what are the areas you are doing? So what is the scope? And then this give a rise to one particular area. See, now you have an entire university, you want to get ISO 9000 certified for one particular department. Can you do that? Maybe agriculture unit. What do you want? Can you do that? Of course you can do because you limit your scope, right? You do that. And then, all right. Okay. This is the, you got it, right? Thank you. Right. Okay. Food industry. Okay. So I think for food industry, you can include that scope of the university. Research, student, service, strong leadership. No, don't go for these words. So when you write the scope, you can't it should not be your vision mission statement. So there are different areas for vision mission. You talk about research students, strong leadership, faculty excellence, student success focus. So these are cannot be part of the scope, right? Scope has to be particularly what you do, right? Scope of combined cycle power plant using high field oil, diesel, and seawater. All right, interesting. Combined cycle power plant using high fuel, oil, diesel, and seawater. Purpose of function. The power plant designed to greater electricity efficiency using. Agreed, that is fine. What is the scope? Fuel treatment, storage, handling, covered. Okay. The scope would be using this. So I need to provide be operation scope, fuel usage, HFO and diesel as a primary fuel. So you will be say power generation, right? Using HFO, right? So you are generating power. So this is a Sabadhanami power plant, right? Is it? Sanjay, sorry? Sanjay, yeah. What is the plant?
Jukatanavi.
Yugadanavi, right? Oh, this is next to Sabada, this one, right? Right. Okay.
Yes.
This is Yugadanavi. Okay. So you basically using HFO and you can, I mean, like you are already certified for 3 standard, right? 9, 14, 45. Is it?
Oh, yes.
All right. Okay. So interesting. So your scope would be like using power generation using HFO. Very simple scope. So, but that's interesting. They already have 3 certificates. Okay. Right. Thank you very much. This is very elaborative. So I mean, like, see other team members, like that's why I'm using the chat. So you can use this information as a kind of a learning, right? So within one day you are getting a lot of exposure, and then you are getting you are covering the entire industry. Imagine this program now you are already exposed to FMCG. you're already exposed to power generation, you're already exposed to the tin manufacturing, and then what else? The dairy, and then you are exposed to us, the consultancy. We as a kind of a service industry, right? So you're getting multiple experience, right? Okay, let's move on. Okay, interesting. Pharmaceutical industry company cover the manufacturing, testing, and distribution of pharmaceutical product, including tablets, capsules, and injectable. Injectable. So okay, I need more elaboration. Say now if you said pharmaceutical company covering manufacturing, so you can't have like vast capacity, right? What are the product you are manufacturing? You need to mention there. Is it paracetamol based product, right? Testing and distribution. So what do you mean by testing? These are the testing. Distribution is fine. Pharmaceutical products, so you know what are the tablets, and then capsules and injectable. So you need to give more elaboration. Actually, am I clear? I believe it's clear, right? So, guys, now you know about this part, right? So, let's move on. So, did I get some feedback here on chat? Okay, so I get feedback about, I'm getting feedback from the chat as well. I think I asked question about the herbal products, Ayurvedic products. So I got feedback. We have about range such as herbal powder, dehydrated powder, raw herbal oil, food supplement, herbal cosmetic, traditional Ayurvedic preparation, Ayurvedic oils, Ayurvedic medicine, including chuna, tablets, pellets, herbal tea, fragrance oil. They are how to make the scope. Right. So you need to make a big scope, right? You need to make a big scope. Your scope is like, lengthy scope. That's fine. Leave it. Like, now the power plant, very simple scope, right? But in your scope, Ayurvedic product, either you need to club band, like, you might say, okay, these are the product categories you do. Otherwise, you need to include everything, right? So this is interesting, right? Now, let's move on. So I think we are getting interested now, right? So now scope part is covered. Now we need to. This is the most important part. Like if I say this will be the heart of ISO system, right? Quality management system and its process, right? So let me read again. The organization shall determine process need for quality management system and their application throughout the organization. They determine the input required and the output expected for this process. Now, if I take this online training program as a process, this is a huge complicated process, right? Like input, you need to find a trainer, you need to find the training material, and then you need to find the proper network facility, right? And then you need to find the marketing. So those will be kind of input, and then expected outcome, because this particular training program designed as an implementer program, right? Like it's not awareness program. So people should involve and then like work on that. So all infrastructure has to be like focusing on that, right? And then determine the sequence and interaction of the process. So like process flow diagram. You start with like there are a few processes. One team will be basically working on the marketing part. So you communicate development of flyers, send the flyers, and then check the evaluation, like involvement of the people, payment collection. So one process, and then there will be another process, communicating with the trainers, like this is, and then agreed on the particular date. So they might say, okay, this particular date is not suitable. So somebody say, okay, this is the suitable date. So agreed on particular date, particular time, and then there will be people to connect the link, communicating with the link. So many things, like it's a complicated process, right? So these are the process output. So even for this particular organization, even if you take a tea making, like now I believe everybody wants to have a plain tea or something, right? Uh, so then if you want to make a plain tea, so there will be a process, right? Like, you need to wash all the utensils, and then you need to pour water into the whatever the equipment, and then you on it, heat it. So that's one process. And then you take a cup, and then you take a tea bag, put it in the cup, and then once it's boiled, right? That's a control point. You pour the hot water into the cup, and then you cover for 3 minutes. That's the brewing. Again, another quality control step. So then you take out the tea bag. That's step. And then you add sugar. You taste it. That's the quality control point. And then you drink or serve. So these are the process. So interaction. And then apply criteria method to include in monitoring, measuring related. So you need to apply criteria. So you might say, okay, if the plant is good, your customer might be happy. He will say, okay, nice plant. Yeah, the plant So that's the feedback. Even at that, like, the person doesn't come back again after you give the serve the plain tea. What will happen? Like something wrong with the plain tea, right? Oh, if you don't clean the cup properly, right? The cup, if you don't clean the properly, what will happen? People don't come back, right? So don't worry. In the universities, we don't check those type, right? But when you become more professional, you started to check all this, right? So these are the key areas, and then you identify the performance indicators, like the quality of tea, the cleanness of the cup. So those are KPIs, and then what are the resources? So like these are the process maps. So any organization, right? Any organization, you need to have that. And then in the process also, like you need to assign responsibility, authority. Say for example, now boiling hot water, you don't give to a children, right? It's done by adult, so that's a responsibility. Transferring, and then maybe serving is done by adult because it's hot, right? Tea tasting is done by adult, like one person, not by everybody. So you identify under each and every step what are the responsibilities, right? And then this process again, like context, you try to identify the risk and opportunities. See, if the tea is good, people will come back. People will have a good rapport with you, right? If the tea is not good, people will totally dissatisfied. So these are the kind of requirement. And then standard said maintain documented information to support the operation. So this process has to be documented. Retain documented information to have confidence that the process carried out as planned. So this is the key area of ISO 9000, right? When you go, even when we do the consultancy work, we spend a lot of time on the process map development and documenting it, because like this is where like your organization will document everything, and then we using this document, you can even do the internal audit, and then this document can be used as a kind of a, like internal training process as well. So this is very crucial, critical requirement. Right now we are going to do another case study. I want you to take up one particular process which is familiar to you. Say now most of you are from like university. So you can say take one process like onboarding new student, or maybe like what is the process for resubmitting your like TCs. You can develop that, right? So getting help from other, or maybe people from like the can industry, they will say okay, receiving raw material, the entire process. We have friend from the Yucatan Navy. So you can identify like, oil unloading, or maybe storage, or maybe maintenance, right? That's a kind of process. And then maybe FMCG people, like, how to do manufacturing of one particular product. I mean, like, you don't need to do like entire thing, but try to cover everything, like, the responsibility, authority, and then KPI, and the risk factors, and then of course dairy, receiving of raw milk, like there's a process, right? Because like you're getting a product with high load of uh, maybe microbes, right? How you unload it, right? So those kind of a process you can take. So shall we take 5 minutes and do the process mapping? Yeah, are you good? So then while you are doing the process map, I can go through this one. Are you good? Can we take 5 minutes and develop a process map as per the standard requirement? Can you cover this part? Tim, can you cover this? Yep. Can I get feedbacks? You good? You can do this? So can you develop process map? Do I get a new message? Okay. You want me to repeat the task again? Okay. What I want is actually, I want you to develop a process map related to your industry. Say, for example, covering this standard requirement. This is actually 4.4 requirement. So you have an input, like, I took one example, tea making. So you hot water, you pour into it, like, process interaction, and then like, you add tea bag, keep it for 3 minutes, take out the tea bag, and then you add sugar, you stir it. So all are process steps. So I want you to do a process mapping for whatever you are familiar with. And then while you are doing it, try to understand who's responsible, what are the authorities, what are the risk factors, what are the opportunities in this process, and then like those are the areas I need to understand. I want you from you. Yeah, is it clear? Is it clear? All right, thank you. So while you are doing that, let me try to go through your chat. We have about broad range such as several product. So may I categorize all the product under broad categories? May have that may be 15 to 20 categories. Is it okay to have such broad category? So about the herbal products, so maybe 15 to 20. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. Yeah, you can have that broad category. So scope of a laboratory, the chemical laboratory is responsible for testing, analysis, and quality control of raw material, samples, and finished product related to scope of consumer product production. Will ensure compliance with the 9 FDA, STIMA, local health regulation. But Tirina, this is not the scope. So your scope would be the laboratory scope would be testing of chemical and microbiological product from raw material, semi-finish, uh, and finished good on FMCG. So that could be the scope. Yeah. So we go one consideration scope, definition, external and internal factor. So Santosh said scope of the university said this is the previous one, like I'm just going through. Good education and produce proper graduates. No, this is not the scope. Like this is maybe your vision or mission statement. This can't be scope. See, good education and proper produce proper graduate. Maybe this is your vision mission. So scope has to be like what you do. So this is wrong. This is actually wrong, right? What else? You want again high quality education, research, and community engagement. This is again a mission statement. This is wrong. So what do you do? Like what is the education streamline you are having? Maybe undergraduation for agriculture, undergraduate for like food science. So those are the scope, right? So high quality. Those are mission statement, right? Cannot be scope. Scope is a straightforward, right? Okay, let's see. We're getting feedback. Okay, I got. I hope this is not from Chat GPT, right? Uh, okay, process map for resubmitting the thesis. Interesting. Initial thesis submit and examine occur. Okay, can I get the responsibility? You receive notification that major revision rejection is required. The official feedback report from examine procedure. Consultation with your supervisor is essential. Okay, agreed. Detailed plan for reviewing the must be deployed. You implement the necessary revise to your thesis. The revised thesis undergoes interview by your own supervisor. You prepare for the competencies resubmission. Okay, I'm good. So what about the positive, negatives, and the responsibilities? The KPIs. If you want to set a KPI for this, what about this? Yeah. So let me see the Uh, Unilever tea powder production. This is it in Agarapatana plant? Ishani. Okay. Tea cultivation and sourcing process, selecting high quality tea plantation, sustainable farming protocols, harvesting tea leaves, authority, tea plantation manager, ensure quality and sustainability, procurement team, select suppliers and manage contracts, opportunities. Implement eco-friendly farming techniques, sourcing from diverse resource from unique flavors, risk factors, climate change affecting the tea, supply chain distribution, leaf processing and drying process, withering to the reduced moisture, rolling to release flavor component, uh, oxidation for black tea production, drying for preparation, authority, factory manager, overseas processing efficiency, quality control maintain product standard, opportunity using efficiency drying method, ensuring tea flavor through optimized oxidization, risk factors, contamination risk from improper drying, considering blending and flavoring, mixing different tea flavors, adding authority R&D to opportunities. Leshani, I have a question. Uh, see, I don't know. Uh, uh, because the tea powder production is not because like you are basically mentioned the orthodox tea manufacturing process, but tea powder is not using the orthodox. Tea powder actually like using the BMF. So I'm maybe a bit confused. I don't know. Powder and packing, tea leaves into fine powder, packing into different size and formula, labeling and quality checking. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I'm a bit confused about the process, but because, like, either you have to write the black tea manufacturing process, or either you have to write a tea powder manufacturing. So the what you have, the your topic and the process is bit different. Like, your process talk about black tea, the orthodox method, but your heading said tea powder. So I'm a bit confused, but other than that, it's quite okay. Like if it is black tea, uh, I'm like it's actually not black tea only. So you combine a lot of things, like you manufacture the black tea, and then you, like, in tea industry, like there are two or three different things. You have a tea manufacturing facility. Manufacturing mean, like, you get the green leaf, and then you make it black tea with the different grade, and then you put it to auction, and then from auction, the tea exporters, we call it exporters. So you combine both process. So tea exporters, they buy the tea from the auction, and then they blend it, and then they pack it. So in your process, I think it covers both, right? I'm talking about the WhatsApp chat. And then education, community engagement, research. I'm not sure. Right. Okay. So let's see. I'm getting some chats. Let's see. pasteurization milk process, milk stored from dairy tank from transport to the processing area. Quality testing, milk is tested for contamination and quality. Stored milk is stored in. So now this milk process. So your quality, you do the quality testing. So this is a decision making point, right? So if the products are accepted, you collect it. If it is rejected, you basically discard it, right? So this is decision making. Milk is stored, then only accepted product goes to the storage, right? Then treatment, filtration, separation of cream from skim milk, standardization. So these process steps are there. But who will be responsible for that? And what is the positives and negatives, risk and opportunities? You need to identify that, right? One milk buzzer to check buzzer. Okay, it's good. So I got few let's see, Tusita. Okay. Raw material inspection, QC supervision verified by the QC external sample basis. So you receive the coconut. So he's from coconut industry, right? Controlling parameters, physically size parameters. So you identify the physical, immediate nuts, uh, nut, and then for external materials. So positive ability to input from good quality raw material into process. Negative possibility to impact raw coconut from less. Okay, got it. So you're spot on. That part is covered. Chatura said, what is the process? Coconut water manufacturing from PDF. Preparation of collect coconut water. CCP1. Okay, so you are going into the critical control point. Adding of sulfur, 30 ppm. All right, 5 ppm. Okay. Then coconut water raw storage. Uh, Operator, filtration of potash. I can't read. UST treatment, 1810 UST operator. Aspect packaging team, warehouse operation. Uh, Chandra, I might have some doubt about the CCPs and all, but if I started to talk about the CCP right now, others will get confused because not most of even though it's a bulk of you are in food, but we are focusing on quality, right? So maybe if time permits, we'll have a chat later. But other than that, your process map is okay. Uh, Resubmission, input, process steps. This is okay. Okay, so risk opportunities you can identify. What is this? Fuel oil treatment plant. Okay, info treatment plant. Three bases. Okay, so I just glanced to Sanjay. So again, now Sandhu has sent student admission, inquiry and information, application submission, application review, entrance exam. So again, application review has a decision making point, right? So they application review and then they reject some people. I mean, like if people doesn't have a qualification, right? So then only entrance exam, right? So just identify like, sometimes process step can be divided. Decision making point, approve or not, right? Right. Okay. So I think like with this you can have a good understanding of the process. This is the element 5, 6, 7. Is that all? Is that good? What do you think? I'm going to eliminate skip all these things. You okay with that? What do you think? I'm going to skip all this standard. What do you think? You can raise this kind of face, right? No, I'm surprised. Like, I need to know everything, right? Yeah. Right. Why I do this, right? Why I do this? Like, I'll come back to this element 5 again. If you complete your process map correctly, then your operation activity, element number 8, like you remember, PDC cycle is there. Plan, do, check that, right? Plan, do, check that is there. PDC is there. So the first part, like, element 4, 5, 6, 7 comes under planning. So if you do a process map in a proper way, right? Process map in a proper way, right? And then of course, when it's come to element 8, the operation part, the doing part should be covered, right? Any organization. So that's why I just jump into element number 8, right? You cover the entire thing. You jump into element number 8. So let's complete. So when you develop process map, all these aspect has to be covered. So now just think of your process map, like, think of your organization. It could be the university, it could be energy plantation, it could be like, herbal manufacturing plantation, it could be, like, dairy product manufacturing plantation, it could be a laboratory. So these entire process has to be covered. So let's go through the element 8, right? So under element 8, it says operation. Determine the requirement for product and service. So whatever the product and service, say for example, we are into consultancy. So there will be a service requirement. So some of you are into herbal products, some of you are into the electricity, some of you are into FMCG, right? Some of you are into laboratory, again service. So what is the requirement for product and service? Right? We need to understand. So there will be like, some product has a legal requirement. Say for example, if you said your the herbal product, if you take this particular herbal product, you will be slim, right? Like, your immunity will go up. So there will be a declaration. So you need to scientifically prove that your declaration is correct. Otherwise, everybody put will any sort of declaration, right? So this is the critical. So then you have to establish criteria for the process, the acceptance of the product and service. So if it is a herbal product, milk product, you have a critical parameter, your microbiological level, your quality level, your organoleptic level. So you identify your service level. So if you want to become a 9,000 trainer, you need to have the competencies. If you want to become a chemist, if you want to become a microbiologist, if you want to become a like sales agent, so you have to have a service qualities. So you understand that. Determine the resource need to achieve the conformity to the service requirement, implement control of process in accordance with the criteria, determine the meaning and retain documented information to the extent necessary. So in this requirement, again, you need to maintain the documented information. Yeah. So this is crucial, right? So you need to maintain documented information. Then let's move on. Then determine maintaining and retaining document information for context necessary, having confidence that the process have been carried out as planned to demonstrate the conformity of the product and service to be their requirement. So we need to have confidence that the process have been carried out as planned. Say, for example, we talk about pasteurization. What is the whole purpose of having pasteurization is like, that particular step should be able to kill all the microbes. Is it? That's the requirement. You should be able to kill all the microbes. Right. So then we need to have a confidence. So that's why you send the sample for lab and get the test done. Right. So you send the sample, get the test done. So that's the requirement. Yeah. So you need to have a confidence. Like, if you do a training program, you need to have confidence that particular trainer has certain qualities. He knows about the subject. He knows how to communicate with the team. So there are like, the technical qualities as well as the soft skills. Your organization need to know that part. That's a requirement. The output of this planning suitable for organization operation. The organization shall control plan changes to review the consequence of unintended changes, taking action to mitigate any adverse effect of necessary. So, there can be some changes. See, imagine now uh, this particular training program, I had to do it. So what happened if I'm unable to take up the program? I mean, humanly, I mean, there can be situation. What happened? So there should be a second line, like we call in we call it BCP, business continuity planning. ISO 9000 doesn't go into that level right now, but you can develop that, right? So when you do the process, you can plan it out. Maybe if you're the manufacturing guy is not available, what are you going to do? Say your pasteurization machine is not working. There's the issue. What are you going to do? Because your bulk of the production should go through the pasteurization. What happened if the pasteurization is not working? What happened? See now we have a friend from the Yuganda Navy, right? So what happened? The power plant is not working. So all in dark, right? All in dark. Yeah, we have to stop the process. So what do you mean by stopping the process? We are losing the business, right? We are losing the actually we are losing the business, and customer is totally dissatisfied. So customer doesn't care, like, because he wants the service level, right? So these are like, when you do the planning, you have to plan accordingly. So if organization, when you go with the ISO 9000, like if you properly implement, you consider all these factors, right? Organization shall ensure that the outsourced processes are controlled. So this is very important. Say maybe if you don't have a pasteurization, you might have an agreement with some of your competitor. So that's why I said, like, ethical competition is good. Say I have a doubt, like, I have an issue. So if there's an issue, can I use your pasteurization? Do you have a capacity for that? There are organizations you need to have a cold storage capacity, but you sign an agreement in case of emergency, right? What are you going to do? So again, organization, that's why they go for multi-skill. Like, everybody should be able to do anything. So when you have that, like, you basically maintain all the service level, right? And then one thing, the organization shall ensure that outsourced processes are controlled. What do you mean by that? So I believe most of you have outsourced process. So outsource, as per ISO, your outsourced process has to be controlled. What do you mean by? Yeah, reprocess. Yeah, if your pasteurization is not working, maybe you have to do a reprocess. What do you mean? So, what do you mean by outsourced process has to be controlled? Say, if you are running a garment factory and then your dyeing is given to a third party, right? So once you get the dyeing, and if there's a color staining, and if that goes to customer, do you think customer is happy? No way. Customer will go bad. And if there's a color variation, customer will go bad. So you need to have a mechanism saying, okay, whatever product I give it to my outsource party, it should be like, control. So either you go and check the product, or you sign an agreement, and then once you receive the product, as per sample plan, you check it. So all these things has to be there. Yeah, outsource mean third party. Like, some of your core requirement has been taken over by somebody else, because some organization decided, okay, my core area is this. So all the other activities, like, a lot of organization, they outsource distribution and transportation. But if you outsource distribution and transportation, what happen if they damage your product? I mean, like, you can manufacture your product in a perfect way and then give it to the transport guys, and then they damage your product. What will happen? And especially now we have food people, so you outsource your transport to the cold storage team. And what happen if they turn off the cold storage during the transportation? I mean, product can be, like, deteriorate, and then maybe due to that, like, there can be some issues, right? So these things, standardized outsourced processes are controlled, right? And then requirement for product service, again, customer communication, provide information related to the product and service, handling inquiries, contract order to yep, outsource handling handling inquiries, contract orders, including changes, obtaining customer feedback related to the product and service, including customer complaints, handling or control customer property. Then the establishing specific requirement for contingency action when relevant. So this is what I just mentioned. What are the basic contingency action we are going to do?